in as a jockey, because tactically you have to get it right. And punters are saying that James McDonald on Romantic Warrior will tactically get it right. He got out to $3.90 at one stage, back into $3.70. Good surge for Romantic Warrior. And good luck to all the team at Hong Kong. Alligator Blood's been rock solid, $6 next elect. Now have a look at $9 each of two. Gold Trip and Fangirl opened up, and now they're $7.50 each of two. Gold Trip, watch for that move down the side to take off and make this a true test. Militarise, $8.50 into $7.50. Joins Gold Trip and Fangirl. Brightside, soft in the market, $7 out to $8.50. Maybe because he boxed seats and might get held up in traffic, so they say. And there's Zaki. He'll lead. He needs to get across to the fence because he has a bad habit of wanting to hang in. $23 into $20. Outside of that, I can't really give you a steer. My over on 61 to 46, but yeah, no thanks. Let's have a look at Romantic Warrior, $3.70, your favourite and popular. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the 1-800 number or visit the website.
It actually felt like he's been here 100 times the way he gets around this track. It's incredible.
Frosty said he felt terrific. His action's great.
And Mr. Brightside has won the mile.
Draw barrier 2. It's the same barrier he won the All-Star Mile from.
He goes out there and he thumps his chest and he says, "See me later, alligator."
We're always pretty keen to run in the Cox Plate.
At the moment, it's the race on the top of my list that I want to win.
Pinstripe.
Fangirl, she's in great form, probably the best form of her career.
Here to win, we've got a winning jockey on, might make a nice story one day.
If you're not nervous, you're mad, so hopefully it'll all go well.
He's improved every run. I think he'll improve again out to the 2000.
The field's assembling in the back parade ring for today's feature, the Group 1 Cox Plate. Charlotte, you don't get to this level of competition as a horse without a lot of professionalism, and that's exactly what we've seen from the field so far this afternoon. Basically, from the minute most of these horses have arrived on course, they have behaved impeccably.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen Victoria Road led the first contingent out and head down, very professional. Both two strappers on the horse, but really professional. And then you've got Romantic Warrior, who probably out of all the horses in here at the moment, along with Pinstripe, are the two that are probably the most on the bits, you know, raring to go, showing a little bit more enthusiasm right now. So it'll be interesting for you to judge how they are in the parade ring down there. But just looking at Mr. Brightside behind me, he's your favourite too, isn't he? You can't help it.
He just about is. Look, he's just one of those horses whose demeanour doesn't change on race day, and he looked wonderful when he walked into the back parade ring here, Charlotte, didn't he? That run to Sydney looks like it's really brought him on.
Yeah, we were just saying, well, you said his coat's the best you've seen it, and I think it's the best I've seen him look in any race preparation. So I think he looks absolutely super prime for today. But one horse that I've got to make mention of, and I said it to you before, and I'm looking at him out here again, is Alligator Blood. Is he kind of the forgotten horse with Romantic Warrior there? And he's going to make it a real test, isn't he, up on speed as he always does? And he gave me that look when he walked past. And whenever
I was going to say to you, you've got to tell the audience, he gave you the wink. He told you he was on, didn't he?
Yeah,
on his best tote plus starting price. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the website.
This mounting yard is brought to you.
Run on this day in 1922. What a race it has become since. It's given us a century of highlights. We look forward to a century of more. The Ladbrokes Cox Plate, $5 million Group 1 weight for age contest. There's nothing like it over the 2040 here at the Valley. Animo last year winning a classic edition, defeating the late I'm Thunderstruck, El Bodegon, and four combatants who back up here. Zaki 4th, Alligator Blood 5th, Mr. Brightside 7th, and Gold Chip a somewhat unlucky 9th, and beaten only 2.9 lengths. And Damien Oliver waves to the crowd one last time on Cox Plate Day. He's set to have his 23rd ride in this race. His first was on Stylish Century in 1991. He won it on Dane Ripper in 97 and Northerly in 2001. And he's had 4 placings of recent times, including Russian Camelot and El Bodegon last year. And the quality of the 2023 Cox Plate is underlined by the presence of the Hong Kong star Romantic Warrior, who had a tune-up, so to speak, when fourth and needing the fitness perhaps in the Turnbull. James McDonald winning it last year on Animo, second aboard Hartnell in 2016. He tries to become the first jockey to win this back-to-back with different horses since Michael Clark in 1989 and 90.
He was underdone, he got keen, and considering the speed of the race and those factors, he was far from disgraced first up. He should be fitter, he can roll forward, he looks like he's going to get a nice run. That starting price and his overall record deserve serious respect. If he's forward enough to find something like his best form, I think he's probably the best horse in the race.
He's showing some patience that we didn't see from him at Flemington, this horse. He's just had to stop and wait for the rest of the field to come into the yard. He's not up on his toes. He's not trying to overdo it. He's definitely tightened up in condition, and as long as this is the manner in which he continues to parade, I think he's got a huge show.
Tuizaki, a dramatic race morning scratching as favourite 2 years ago, fourth in the race last year. He has the services of Damien Lane, who won the race on Ligue Rocher in 2019 and has run third previously on both Very Elegant and Humidor.
Looks one of the potential leaders in the race. He led and ran fourth 12 months ago after leading what was quite a controlled speed by Cox Plate standards. He's been solid in 2 runs this preparation. Maybe he peaks third up, but I wonder if his best days are behind him and whether he's good enough to win this race.
I don't know about that, Ben. Looking at this horse in the mounting yard, he has got one of the best skins on him walking around. He looks incredibly healthy, incredibly bright. You wouldn't know that he was 6 weeks between runs. He's sitting nicely on the bit. He's focused. He's engaged. He's looking great.
The 3 is Mr. Brightside, 7th in the race last year, beaten 2.5 lengths from gate 4. Craig Williams has had 15 Cox Plate rides. He won it on Fields of Omar for David Hayes, who's on course in 2006, and of course Pinka in 2011.
Month between runs last start, and maybe the track was a little bit too firm. He started $1.95 there. He was far too good for Alligator Blood 2 starts ago. 7th in this race 12 months ago, but he settled last. I think they might well be on the leaders' backs here. I think he's probably a better horse this time.
He's calm, he's composed, he's showing all the attributes that make him such a good racehorse. He's just dropped his head and wandered round the yard. It's the best I've seen this horse's coat. Look, he's come on from his trip to Sydney. It is typical for him to get a little bit warm in the yard. He's not doing that today. He looks very similar to what he did when he won the All-Star Mile.
4 is Alligator Blood, the Underwood winner and then winner of the Might and Power at 2,000 metres, equal 5th last year. You won't have to go looking for him in the run, BZ. And Gay Waterhouse, who's had placings with Manhattan Rain, Piero, Lateria and All Our Mob. The Cox Plate is one of the last boxes left to tick.
He's been extremely well placed in his past 2 victories at Group 1 level, but he only defeated Tuvalu, who we saw defeated in the Crystal Mile earlier today, and then Vow and Declare and Duis in the previous race. Those 2 horses maybe not up to the same standard as some of the opposition that he faces here, but he's fit, he's in form, he can roll forward, but this is a much more significant test at 2,000 metres than what he had last start in the Might and Power Stakes.
He's got just such a wonderful constitution. His races don't appear to take that much out of him. He holds his condition really nicely. He fronts up to the races in some order every time he steps out. He's laced in dapples. He's showing his usual steely focus. He's still right on his game, this horse. 5
is Gold Trip. He reunites with Mark Zara, who wasn't in the saddle for last Saturday's Caulfield Cup. Mar Eustace winning it with Sir Dragonet in 2020. Zara 2nd last year on I'm Thunderstruck. And a shot at history for Gold Trip. Mackay Diva, Might and Power and Farlap are the horses who've won a Melbourne Cup 1 year and then a Cox Plate the next.
No luck in this race 12 months ago, where he was also coming out of the Caulfield Cup. I think he's going even better this year. Yes, he finished the position further back, but it was a much stronger Caulfield Cup. The difference is he had to go, nearly 20 lengths faster than the first 1,800 metres of this year's Caulfield Cup. Is there some query the week back up out of such a high-pressure race? He'll probably be back in the field and really strong late.
Again, he appears to be backing up really well, this horse. He's got a really professional manner about him on race day. He copes really well with race day pressure, and he hasn't turned a hair. He's got the blinkers back on. He's backing up. You just wouldn't know it. The team have done well to maintain him during the week as well.
6 is My Oberon, last year's Crystal Mile winner, returns for a tilt at the big one.
Showed he can settle a bit closer last start, where he finished alongside Mr. Brightside, but the step up to this distance in this class of race race, I think he'll need to produce a new career peak.
Yeah, he's nice and fit. He's coping with racing and he hasn't got warm today, which is a good sign for him.
7 is Pinstripe, trying to become the first horse since El Segundo in 2007 to complete the Fian Cox Plate double.
Yeah, that victory won his way into the field. He is 2 from 2 at the Valley. He wasn't beaten far on a high-pressure Toorak last time out and was 5 weeks between runs, so maybe some improvement to come. But this is his toughest test and he's unknown at the trip.
He's relaxed really nicely in the mounting yard. Great sign for him. He's an athlete. He's been well prepared. Fitness won't be an issue.
8 is Fangirl. Zach Purton and Chris Waller combined to run 11th with Sacred Falls in 2014. Chris Waller knows what it takes, BZ, to win this race with a mare.
She's outstanding, this mare, and she excels on dry ground. She gets that here. 2,000 metres is somewhat of an unknown, but she couldn't have been any stronger at the end of 1600 last start, defeating a key rival in Mr. Brightside.
She's not as robust as some of her counterparts here. She is only a neat mare, but she's nice and fit, absolutely laced in dapples, so she comes to the races nice and healthy and well.
A final Cox Plate ride for Damien Oliver aboard Ed Cummings' mare in Jewess, horse number 9. Of course, a 2-time winner and recent placings for Ollie with Russian Camelot and El Bodegon.
She was too far back in the might and power off a fast speed, but was strong late. It's been a while since those 2 big wins in the 2022 autumn, and I think others have got stronger form.
She's just got a brilliant temperament, this mare. She would just continue to do laps around this mounting yard without turning her hair for hours on end. She is a real professional racehorse. The team have prepared her really well for a race like this. She's not putting a foot wrong.
Blake Shin rides horse 10 in Victoria Road. Aidan O'Brien winning the race 9 years ago with a horse with a similar profile in Adelaide, the Breeders' Cup juvenile winner of this time last year, having a tilt at the Cox Plate.
Look, the form in this preparation is, you could say, only fair, but had excuses maybe to the ground condition. First up, then last time, probably the distance was a little sharp. That Group 1 Breeders' Cup juvenile win looms large in the form guide and has been set for this race, brings some completely different form, and you have to respect the stable and jockey.
He is only a Northern Hemisphere 3-year-old, so when you look at him in the yard, I think there's a case to say that he will continue to furnish and develop further. What's really stood out with this horse, and the camp did indicate it, that was he was going to be a lovely relaxed horse on race day, and that's exactly what we're seeing from him. He is just wandered into the yard, tucked his head down and focused on what his job is. He's not at all concerned about the atmosphere and the crowd, and he's absolutely glowing in the coat, so perfectly prepared.
23-year-olds have won the Cox Plate, 2 bid to join that group in 2023. The first of them is the Golden Rose winner and horse 11 Militarised. Zach Lloyd trying to emulate the deeds of his cousin Chad Schofield on a 3-year-old in Seamus Award some 10 years ago.
Well, that Golden Rose win was stunning for a horse who wanted more ground. He got more ground in the Caulfield Guineas, but the race shape just left him with no hope. I thought the run was really good considering. If he can use the barrier to settle closer, that'll go a long way to helping his winning chances. He needs to improve on what he's done to date, but he's the X-Factor horse that might be able to take a monumental leap and win a race like a Cox Plate.
He's peaking for this. Could not look any better in the mounting yard, this horse, and handles himself perfectly. Ticks boxes in the parade.
12 is King Colorado, the second of the 3-year-olds. Michael Dieter ride a ½ kilo over.
Might appreciate the rise in distance. He did beat home Militarised, albeit fortunately in the Caulfield Guineas. I don't know if he's got the speed to roll forward, but there's been murmurs all week that they're going to look to use his lightweight and roll forward, so that's going to be fascinating.
He's a big horse. He's got great physical maturity. He doesn't look out of place in this field, and he's another one that is just absolutely shining in the mounting yard.
Who you got for the 2023 Ladbrokes Cox Plate? Is it the international form of Romantic Warrior in Victoria Road? Is it the established, the known commodities that wait for age in Australia, like Alligator Blood, like Mr. Brightside, like Fangirl? Or is it perhaps the 3-year-olds to join the group, like So You Think, Savabil and Seamus Award, who've been able to get it done with the weight advantage under the conditions? It's a mouth-watering, intriguing edition of the Cox Plate. Ben Ascari, you're with the Hong Kong Star.
I am. There's 2 here for me, 2 bets that I could have in the race. One of them, Romantic Warrior on top. I think he will come on for the run in the Turnbull, considering that he was underdone. The run was better in hindsight. He's going to get, I think, a lovely run in behind the speed. Rise is the X factor, and I want to be on him here. The run reminded me of So You Think. Okay, he's not So You Think, and the Guineas probably wasn't as strong, but it was pretty good considering the race shape, and he might be able to take that huge leap forward that's needed. Mr. Brightside's going to get a soft run. I can be forgiving of the last run in Sydney on a track that might have been a bit too firm, and Gold Trip's got the class. He's going to be the one charging home late.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with Romantic Warrior as well. And the other horse that I want to be on is Fangirl, who I think will get the last opportunity. She'll sit back and she should relish the step up in trip to the 2,000 metres, but he looks as though he's made the necessary improvement. Jane, Romantic Warrior from the yard. Who was your pick?
A phenomenal group of horses. I'm not even sure where to start. I've gone with Mr. Brightside on top. His parade today reminded me of his parade prior to an All-Star Mile. It's the best he stepped out on race day this time, and hopefully that can reflect in his performance. Romantic Warrior has definitely improved. His manners were absolutely perfect in the yard today. He was composed. He was the gentleman that Jenny Chapman was talking about. So that bodes well for him. Alligator Blood keeps fronting up in super order and militarised. He ticks boxes. What a race.
Oh, it's a romance for the favourite here, Romancing Warrior. This is a good go in the Cox Plate now. He got out to as far as $4. He's now into $3.30. The money coming for the favourite. James McDonald riding the Hong Kong champion here. The market says he's right. Watch that trim into $3.30 as I go down the line. Alligator Blood's rock solid $6. $7 now split Fangirl, and $7.50 Gold Trip. $8.50 militarised, soft in the market late. Well, the ball over might be Zaki to lead all the way at $20. Outside of that, I cannot give you a steer. Romantic Warrior trimming right up, and he is the one to beat. All right, imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the 1-800 number or visit the website.
Joined by Adrian Botters. Alligator Blood looks to go a couple better than a pretty gallant fifth in last year's edition of the Cox Plate. Adrian, first of all, just take in the atmosphere. I mean, you've had a lot of success with Gay since you become a training partnership, but these truly are the moments that you set the alarm for, aren't they?
Yeah, no doubt. This would certainly be the biggest for us if we could achieve that. It's been a great journey to this point, and certainly be a highlight for us.
Has it been pretty much a 12-month plan to give him another tilt at this?
Yeah, very much so. I thought he ran a very gallant race there last year. That was the plan. We wanted to be back here. Thought he deserved another go. It's been a great build-up this year. I feel he's in better shape this time round, and we've got a better draw today.
Have you done anything different from 12 months ago?
No, look, I was just a little bit interrupted there at the start of last preparation. Obviously, we had a few things to sort out there, but we've been able to, knowing that this is the race that we'll set for and wanting to target, we've been able to plan accordingly.
Has Tim got anything specific in mind in terms of how he controls things?
No, look, not necessarily, and left it very open to Tim how he wants to see this race play out. There's obviously a different shape of race, fair bit of pressure there, but we've got the draw that gives him the options, which we didn't quite have last year, so we're in his hands.
Adrian, good luck to you and the team.
Thank you very much.
Transition into chat to Ed Cummings, who's got Jewess with Damien Oliver in his 23rd and final Cox Plate aboard. You couldn't have anyone better to do the steering. What's his view on your mare's chances, Ed?
Listen, I think we're all quietly confident that she's going to be one of the best finishing horses in the race, and I think all the form pundits would have her in a similar position finishing off. So listen, Ollie's got terrific stats at the track. He's a GOAT of the industry. Very, very comfortable having him on board today, and if we needed an ace up our sleeve, I think it's Ollie.
Is that the one thing that perhaps might have pushed you in the direction of running in the Cox Plate, the fact that she's shown capability north of 2,000 when there's numerous runners who still have that question lingering?
I think the Cox Plate requires a horse to have more than just 2,000 metre form. I think it's a genuine test of 2,000 metre form, and if you've been strong at anything further than that, then you ought to be a very strong chance in a Cox Plate. She's had that form on the board for a long time. Yes, it's been a long time since she's won, but she seems like she's got a hoof on the till.
And it's a race the family's obviously got an incredible legacy in. Hopefully Jewess can continue to fly the flag. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what an atmosphere it was coming through that tunnel and seeing how deep the crowd is now formed in both areas of this racetrack. It's wonderful to be here, and it's just a sense of calm behind the barriers here. We've got a couple of horses just getting a light toweling down over their shoulders, and everybody's got quite stern faces on, getting ready for this epic edition of the Cox Plate. They're all parading beautifully behind the barriers.
Michael Walker, you've been in the shoes of the riders behind the gates. What are they feeling at this stage?
Most of them have just got in their minds what they need to do, but at the same time there's a little bit of nervousness, especially with the crowd you can hear. And once they get out of the gates, it only amps it up a little bit more because you'll hear them scream. And they all know in their minds going to this first corner what they need to do to be able to win this race, because I'm looking through this race, BZ, and I think tactics for every single runner here is going to play a major part, not necessarily the best horse.
Ben Asghari, where does the speed come from?
Oh, it's going to be fascinating. So we know Alligator Blood and Zaki like to go forward, but there's been the Jungle Drums are beating that King Colorado wants to throw himself into the speed mix. Can the other 3-year-old Militarised begin better, put himself closer? Mr. Brightside is going to be looking for the box seat. If a few more go forward, the fireworks could be on early.
Matt Hill calling the action for the Ladbrokes Cox Plate. Here he is.
Brightside goes in. Romantic Warrior for Hong Kong is in the stalls. Militarised, the 3-year-old, joins them. Ridden here by Mickey D. Gold Trip, last year's Melbourne Cup winner, is in. My Oberon, one of the outsiders here at $73 with Jamie Mott. Fangirl, Zach Purden goes in. Quite calm, these runners out behind the line. Alligator Blood goes up into barrier number 5. Fangirl is in with King Colorado. Pinstriped with young Ben Allen. Taking a wide alley. Zaki, the 9-year-old, to move up. Victoria Road is in, so the field is just about set for Australia's best race. The home of the Ladbrokes Cox Plate. Moonee Valley about to erupt as Zaki takes the outside. And the field is set. Ready to run. Racing in the Cox Plate. Romantic Warrior jumped away well with Alligator Blood and Militarised over on the far side. Victoria Road just got chopped out there, and King Colorado shows speed out deeper, and Zaki out even wider at the judge. Alligator Blood joined by King Colorado. Romantic Warriors just behind those horses, 3 and 4 deep on the first corner, and Zaki's out even deeper. They were followed by Militarised and Mr. Brightside as they jostle for positions. A length and a half, My Oberon and Duis, and then Pinstriped well back as Fangirl, and Gold Trip is last of all. 1,400 metres to go, and it's King Colorado in front by a length to Zaki, who's done the work. Alligator Blood is 3rd, and 4th is Romantic Warrior. No excuses from there on the bottom corner at the 1,250. A length away, Mr. Brightside, 3/4 of a length. Victoria Road, 2 lengths. Duis. No speed up front. Then came Militarised, a length and a half. My Oberon and Gold Trip well back. Pinstriped, and last is Fangirl at the 1,000 metres. King Colorado in front by a neck to in second. Zaki, a length and a half to Alligator Blood, a length and a quarter Romantic Warrior. Then came Mr. Brightside, saving every inch of ground. A length and a quarter Victoria Road, followed by Duis. Then Militarised, Gold Trip, My Oberon, Pinstriped, and Fangirl is last. To the side of the course at the 700, King Colorado with Zaki the outside. Alligator Blood is poised. A length Mr. Brightside sneaking round the fence. Then came Romantic Warrior. Further back is Duis, Victoria Road, Gold Trip, My Oberon, Pinstriped, and Fangirl with Militarised up to the corner. Zaki claims King Colorado. Alligator Blood is right there. Romantic Warrior 4 deep, a length and a half off them. Mr. Brightside off the fence, needs room, and then came Duis into the straight. Alligator Blood at the 200 took the front. Romantic Warrior the outside. Alligator Blood at the 100. Romantic Warrior, Mr. Brightside. Still Alligator Blood. Mr. Brightside coming at it with Romantic Warrior. It's a photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. It's a photo finish. Alligator Blood 3rd. For 4th, we've got Fangirl in company with Duis, who ran a race. Then Zaki, Gold Trip, well back in the field, Militarised, Pinstripe, My Oberon, King Colorado, and Victoria Road. Romantic Warrior is going to get up by a nose.
Romantic Warrior has denied a Hayes fairy tale in the Cox Plate. The plan has come together for Danny Shum, James McDonald and Hong Kong in an epic Cox Plate that promised so much and delivered so much more. The team with Mr. Brightside thought they had pinched it along the rails with Craig Williams, but instead Danny Shum will take the Cox Plate back to Hong Kong, and James McDonald becomes the first jockey since Michael Clark in 1989 and 1990 on Almirad, and ironically in some respects better loosen up in those famous Lindsay Park silks. J-Mac's the first jockey to go back-to-back in the Cox Plate on different horses for 33 years. And Romantic Warrior has shown all of his championship qualities to flex late and win the Cox Plate over Mr. Brightside and Alligator Blood. Charlotte Littlefield has got J-Mac alongside her.
Yeah, we've had some expletives here. I think we've got someone very happy backing up another win in the Cox Plate.
This means so much. I've got so much faith in this horse, and oh my God, I thought I got beat.
I know you thought you got beat. That was extreme emotion right there.
And the camera didn't follow me, and I just went, oh, I can't say what I said, but...
What sort of a feeling does it give you?
Oh, I can't believe we won the Cox Plate.
Well, you have.
Means so much. I've had so much to do with him. I've been singing his praises, how much he's improved. I needed to get a good run, and I felt I gave him the best possible run I can and could, I should say. And we won the Cox Plate, baby!
We need some music out here. We need to celebrate. Where's the champagne?
Jeez, I can't believe it.
Well, we need to get you back there and celebrate. Well done, that was epic.
What a race, what a finish to a thrilling Cox Plate. You can just feel the emotion there from James McDonald, a jockey who's done it all across the country. He's won this race before, he's won our best races, the Melbourne Cup. But for him to have that much emotion with a horse like this, and what a huge thrill for this race to have the horse from Hong Kong come here and just narrowly deny Mr. Brightside, who was so brave in defeat for Craig Williams and the Lindsay Park team.
Yeah, he was, and I think that a lot of the emotion for James comes from the pressure that was put on him and the horse. You know, he came from Hong Kong and everyone was saying he's just going to win the Cox Plate, and after his first up run we were like, oh, can he?
That's the thing, Michael Walker. That's why he's an elite jockey. You mentioned the pressure. He had the pressure last year on Animo. Everybody wanted that horse to win. He got one out, one back. He delivered. Let's have a look at the chopper of the concluding stages. This was the favourite again. The pressure was on James McDonald, and he has delivered in spades. Let's have a look at the concluding stages, and it shows the side on being very deceptive, Brent Zarafa, because it looked like Romantic Warrior was chasing down Mr. Brightside, but it was probably the other way round.
Yeah, there was some very neat runs in behind. Dewis has run out of room at a concluding stage. It almost could have been a fairy tale for Damien Oliver. Fangirls held up for a run. Gold Trip hitting the line. Alligator Blood was there at the finish.
How about the shadows in the winning post? And nobody knew who had won, so it was harder to tell just for some added drama. It was a spectacular race. It's going to be high. You know, this just shows what I look for. I can't wait to see the numbers coming out tonight for this race. I don't know if there was much speed in the mid stages.
And nose is the official margin by a short neck. 1 beats 3 and 4. Have a look at these scenes with James McDonald as he arrives back in front of a full house at the Valley with plenty of people cheering on Romantic Warrior. He paid $2.80 on the tote with the Whirlpool. $3.60 will be the SP, and what a brave performance from Alligator Blood in defeat. He looked as though he was going to be winning the race inside the final 50 metres, but the late surge, and look at that on the low angle shot when you get to see the replay of James McDonald just stretching himself at full stretch to get the head down of Romantic Warrior right on the line. The class record is 2:02.94, and they've run a time of 2:03.16. So this is a serious Cox Plate.
Yeah, I think my memory went for a minute there. I thought the track record was about a second quicker. That they were put down to the floor there, and even more credit to James McDonald. Craig Williams, though, Michael Walker, he deserves some real credit. That was a terrific ride.
After the way he jumped out the barriers, the way he rode his horse, Mr. Brightside, was outstanding. He deserved to win it, but he didn't.
Here's the winning trainer, Danny Shum.
Danny Shum, you've won a Cox Plate. What sort of faith did you have that the Turnbull run wasn't a cause for concern?
I don't think he's really 100% at the Turnbull stake, but he take all the challenges, take over the challenge and difficulties. And every time we get here, James McDonald gave me a very good report. So, and the boys reported to me, he's getting better day by day. So I do confidence he will run a good race. Yeah.
What's this mean for you? We've seen such a heavy Hong Kong presence here in town that's built over the last 3 weeks since the Turnbull. To take the Cox Plate back to Hong Kong, what's that mean?
Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss. Yes, thank you.
A hug from Winifred Engelbrecht, of course, from the Hong Kong Jockey Club.
Yes.
What's the moment mean for you, but also to be standing on this stage representing Hong Kong?
Of course, it's a big meaning for me as a trainer. We can win Group 1, it will be very happy. We can win overseas Group 1, it will be more happy than what I tell you. I'm happy. So sorry, I don't know how to tell you. I'm so happy. Okay, thank you.
Danny, thank you for bringing him to our shores.
Thank you all the people.
Ben Hayes,
thank you all the
I'm sure been some bitter disappointment at the result, but what a ride and what a tough horse in defeat.
Yeah, Craig gave him a 10 out of 10. Better horse on the day, unfortunately. We actually thought he won when he crossed the line, so it makes it a little bit worse. But he is just absolute superstar. He's ticked off that 2,000. And we couldn't be prouder of the horse, the whole team at home, and we're pretty shattered.
As you would be, Ben, but I do have to ask you one thing. There is a chance of a rematch. What's the thoughts in heading to Hong Kong?
Well, I'd love a rematch. He was already above on the line. Look, we'll see how the horse is first, and if he pulls up well, we could head there.
We're all feeling for you, Ben. It was a wonderful effort in defeat.
It was. Craig rode him 10 out of 10. He had every chance, so just frustrating. Yeah.
Congratulations, mate. James McDonald, some hugs, some kisses, and rightly so for those nearest and dearest to him. After making it back-to-back Cox Plates, he becomes the first jockey to do it since Michael Clark in 89 and 90. James, 1's good, 2's better. How did you do it?
Oh, well, showed belief. This horse is pretty special to me, and when I mentioned to come to a Cox Plate, I think he'd be the perfect horse. I meant what I said, and Danny, credit to Peter and Danny, takes a hell of a lot of balls to come out of Hong Kong with all the prize money, one of the best racing jurisdictions in the world, and they come here and showcase their boy. I reckon he's got more to come too. He's just been bubbling. He made significant amount of improvement like we thought he did. And he loves the bloody valley.
It took the full 20-40 to win it, as it does in most Cox Plates, but how did the position you found early set things up?
I was comfortable. I knew I was on the right horse, and there was people I was talking during the week that just kept going, he's the best horse, and they'll ride him like it. And I took a gamble about the 1,000 or 1,200 and elected to come back a spot, and to this right minute right now, I believe that was the winning move. Giving my horse an extra length to come back. I let Alligator knowing that I think I still can beat him by letting him out and having last crack, and yes.
Well done, 2-time.
Thanks.
Outstanding from James McDonald, and outstanding for the global appeal of the WS Cox Plate. We've had international winners in the past from Europe, Japan. Great to see a former champion in Glenn Boss there with James McDonald. But as James mentioned, it's taken a lot for Danny Shum to take a leap of faith and bring this horse out of Hong Kong. We haven't seen the absolute elite Hong Kong gallopers come to our shores in the past. And they've come here and won, but they haven't just won and put a space on our rivals. It shows that the Australian horses at 2,000 metres are capable against a horse who's beaten the Japanese by a decent space. Mr. Brightside and Alligator Blood took up the fight. They were terrific in defeat. They've been extremely brave, and plenty of smiles from the Hong Kong connections there as they celebrate a victory with... and some great scenes here as we get some vision of Danny Shum watching the race, coming over the concluding stages. It would be quite an exciting contest here, waiting for the photo to come up. And there it is, the celebrations. That would mean so much to them all.
It would. It just, to come from Hong Kong and, like James said, what they've put on the plate to get him out here, go through all the restrictions and so forth. So even though they have a lot of money in races over there, to do what he's done is amazing. And for James, with the emotion where a little bit of tears may have come through, I've been in that position before when you think in a big race you've got beat. and then all of a sudden you see the clerk writing to you to congratulate you and do the interview with it. It's so emotional.
The next event at Morphettville is not too far away.
Alligator Blood at the 200 took the front. Romantic Warrior the outside. Alligator Blood at the 100. Romantic Warrior, Mr. Brightside. Still Alligator Blood. Mr. Brightside coming at it with Romantic Warrior. It's a photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. It's a photo finish. Alligator Blood third. For fourth, we've got Fangirl in company with Jewers who ran a race. Then Zaki, Gold Trip. Well back in the field, militarised, pinstripe by over on King Colorado and Victoria Road. Romantic Warrior is going to get up by a nose.
Romantic Warrior has denied a Hayes fairy tale in the Cox Plate. The plan has come together for Danny Shum, James McDonald and Hong Kong in an epic Cox Plate that promised so much and delivered so much more. The team with Mr. Brightside thought they had pinched it along the rails with Craig Williams, but instead Danny Shum will take the Cox Plate back to Hong Kong, and James McDonald becomes the first jockey since Michael Clark in 1989 and 1990 on Almirad, and ironically in some respects better loosen up in those famous Lindsay Park silks. J-Mac's the first jockey to go back-to-back in the Cox Plate on different horses for 33 years. And Romantic Warrior has shown all of his championship qualities to flex late and win the Cox Plate over Mr. Brightside and Alligator Blood.